What if your own body suddenly turned against you in a way no doctor could explain? What if you woke up one morning speaking with an accent you've never learned? Tonight, we're not talking about myths. We're talking about real people, real names, real medical files that left doctors speechless. The human body is one of the most complex systems ever discovered. Billions of cells working together in perfect coordination, signals racing through nerves at lightning speed, organs maintaining balance every second of our lives. Most of the time it works flawlessly, but sometimes something goes wrong. A gene mutates, a signal misfires, a function stops behaving the way biology intended. And when that happens, the results can feel almost supernatural. Stay with me, because number 1 is almost impossible to believe. Let's begin. 10. Ashlyn Blocker, the girl who couldn't feel pain. Ashlyn Blocker was just a baby when her parents realized something was wrong. She never cried, not during vaccinations, not when she fell. At first it seemed like she was simply calm, tough, unusually quiet, but soon the signs became alarming. Ashlyn was born with congenital insensitivity to pain, a rare genetic disorder that prevents the body from feeling physical pain. Pain is usually the body's warning system. It tells us when something is wrong, when to stop, when to protect ourselves. Ashlyn's body didn't have that warning. She once chewed through her own tongue as a toddler without realizing it. She walked on a fractured ankle without knowing it was broken. Small injuries became dangerous because she never reacted to them. Doctors discovered her nerves could not transmit pain signals to her brain. Her body was injured, but the alarm never sounded. Her parents had to constantly monitor her for cuts, burns, and broken bones. Shock fact, many patients with this condition don't die from disease. They die from unnoticed injuries. 9. Aaliyah Hart, the girl turning to stone. Aaliyah Hart was diagnosed with fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva, one of the rarest diseases on Earth. Only a few hundred cases have ever been documented worldwide. At first it looked like swelling, then stiffness, then something far stranger began happening. Bones started forming where muscle should have been. Ligaments hardened, connective tissue calcified. Every fall, every bruise, every minor injury triggered explosive bone growth. In fact, surgery made the disease worse. Any attempt to remove the extra bone triggered even more aggressive growth. Over time, movement became harder, joints locked, muscles lost flexibility. Her body was building a second skeleton around her. Shock fact, by adulthood, many FOP patients are completely immobilized, fully conscious inside a body that has fossilized. 8. Beth Goodyear, the real-life Sleeping Beauty. At 16, Beth Goodyear began sleeping for days at a time. At first, doctors thought it was exhaustion, stress, hormonal changes. But the episodes kept getting longer. Days turned into weeks, then months. Diagnosed with Kleine-Levin syndrome, Beth sometimes slept up to 22 hours a day. During severe episodes, she would wake briefly only to eat or use the bathroom before falling back into deep sleep. At one point, she reportedly lost nearly 6 months of her life to sleep. When awake, she often felt confused, disconnected from reality. Conversations felt distant, memories blurred together. Doctors still don't fully understand the cause. Shock fact, some patients with this condition lose years of memory, entire chapters of life erased by sleep. If you're still here, you're officially part of the Topify inner circle. Subscribe now, because the next cases get even more unsettling. And trust me, the final stories will make you question how strange the human body can truly become. Now let's continue. 7. Rachel Warwick, allergic to water. Rachel Warwick's condition sounds impossible. Water, the most basic element for life, became something her body rejected. Rain touching her skin caused irritation. Sweat triggered painful reactions. Even tears could create burning hives across her face. Diagnosed with aquagenic urticaria, Rachel had to completely rethink daily life. Showers were limited to just a few minutes. Swimming was impossible. Even exercising was risky because sweat could trigger painful reactions. Doctors still debate what causes this condition. Some theories suggest water-dissolved substances in the skin that trigger the immune system. Shock fact, some sufferers report the pain from water contact feels like burning acid on their skin. 6. Jill Price, the woman who never forgot. Jill Price remembers nearly every day of her life since childhood. Ask her about a random date. March 3rd, 1998. She can tell you what happened, what she wore, what the weather felt like, and how she felt emotionally. Her brain stores autobiographical memories in extraordinary detail, and this rare condition is known as hyperthymesia. While most people gradually forget details over time, Jill's memories remain vivid and accessible instantly. But perfect memory is not always a gift. Painful memories never fade. Embarrassing moments never soften with time. Arguments, heartbreak, loss, they replay in her mind as clearly as the day they happened. Shock fact, Jill once described her memory as a running movie that never stops. 5. Michelle Myers, the accent that wasn't hers. Michelle Myers suffered severe migraines for years. Then one day, after an intense episode, something unusual happened. Her speech changed. Her American accent had shifted into something people described as Irish or British. Friends were confused. Some thought she was joking. Others believed she was pretending. But she wasn't. Doctors eventually diagnosed foreign accent syndrome, a rare neurological condition where subtle brain changes alter speech rhythm and pronunciation. The person isn't actually speaking another language, but the pattern of speech changes enough that it sounds foreign.
I feel like a different person. The person I am now has been through so much.
Shock fact, some patients lose friendships or relationships because others believe they're faking the accent. 4. Charles Lullin, the man who saw what wasn't there. In the 1760s, Charles Lullin began seeing vivid hallucinations, faces floating in the air, birds flying through rooms, detailed scenes appearing suddenly before him. Yet Lullin remained completely aware that these images were not real. He wasn't mentally ill, he was perfectly rational. His grandson, philosopher Charles Bonnet, carefully documented the phenomenon. The condition is now known as Charles Bonnet syndrome. It occurs when the brain receives reduced visual input, often due to eye disease. Instead of accepting darkness, the brain begins creating its own images. Shock fact, some hallucinations reported in this condition are more detailed and colorful than normal vision. 3. Alex Mitchell, laughter that turned fatal. In 1975, Alex Mitchell was sitting at home watching a comedy show on television. One particular sketch made him laugh harder than usual. The laughter continued. Minutes passed. He couldn't stop. After prolonged laughter, Mitchell suddenly collapsed. Doctors later determined that the intense physical stress triggered heart failure. Laughter normally reduces stress and improves health. But in extremely rare cases, intense emotional reactions can overwhelm the cardiovascular system. Shock fact, under rare conditions, extreme joy can destabilize the heart just as severely as fear. 2. Patient SM, the woman without fear. In scientific literature, she is known only as SM. Due to damage in a small brain structure called the amygdala, she lost the ability to feel fear. Fear is one of the brain's most powerful survival tools. It warns us when danger is near, but SM's brain could not produce that response. Researchers tested her in extreme situations. They exposed her to snakes and spiders. They took her through haunted attractions. They showed her disturbing films. Nothing triggered fear. Shock fact, without fear, even obvious danger can feel completely normal. And if you enjoy strange, mind-bending stories like these, subscribe to Topify so you never miss the next countdown, because this final case defies explanation. 1. Antonio B., the boy who cried blood. In 2009, a teenage boy in Italy, identified as Antonio B., began experiencing something terrifying. Blood started flowing from his eyes. There was no injury, no trauma, no visible damage to the eye tissue. Doctors ran tests, scans, examinations. They diagnosed a rare condition called hemolacria. But even with the diagnosis, the cause remained a mystery. For several days, blood tears streamed down his face unexpectedly. Then, just as suddenly as it began, it stopped. Shock fact, in rare documented cases around the world, hemolacria appears and disappears. The human body is powerful, brilliant, terrifying. Sometimes it heals in ways that seem miraculous. And sometimes it behaves in ways science is still trying to understand. If you made it this far, subscribe to Topify and turn on notifications, because we uncover the strangest stories science has ever recorded. Which case shocked you the most? And what mystery should we explore next? This is Topify. Thanks for watching.